The Steel Avenger. Obviously the main weapon is the duster at the front here. We've got bulletproof polycarbonate casing, twin Bosch motors, 750s, and this will come down on you with the force of Dawn French in a pair of stilettos.
Time to engineer some chaos. Let the wars begin.
Steel Avenger.
A second appearance in the wars, back to avenge defeat by Duotor last time. Two electric motors give a top speed of 15 miles an hour to this trusty steed, and axe won't miss peeling back the shell of opponents. Shoomy, Shoomy 2 actually fell to the Steel Avenger in the third series of Robot Wars, into the pit. Then the Avenger came across a very good robot, an experienced robot in Duotor, and when toppled, they couldn't right themselves, and they fell at that stage.
Hi, I'm John Willoughby, I'm team captain of the Pneumatic Fanatics.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cockrell, and I operate the weapons.
And this is Tony Bates, our third team member, who's on his way at the moment. This is our robot, the Steel Avenger. We've got a front-cutting blade, we've got a very powerful pneumatic axe this year, and the big improvement is we've now got an uprighting mechanism.
And this is our lucky mascot, which we hope to clear up in the arena with.
Roboteers, stand by.
The Steel Avenger from Suffolk. John Willoughby there, the controls on the left, Wild Thing. The controls, Nick Adams, Isabel and Jake. And there, Humphrey, new to Robot Wars, Mick Kirkwood at the controls.
2, 1.
Wild Thing, the seated robot, quick to manoeuvre, now comes back on the attack, can get up to 8 miles an hour. It's not the heaviest of these three. Quite the opposite, in fact. Now a little nudge tentative on Humphrey. There's the Steel Avenger. Big, burly, somewhat cumbersome. What if those side panels are also prone to attack? They look a little bit suspect. Polycarbonate, aluminium and steel shell. That's Wild Thing dancing between the two. You see there, the Steel Avenger slow to turn. The Wild Thing has the speed advantage over these two opponents. Now attacking the Steel Avenger again and into the CPZ, which means Matilda can come out, but the Wild Thing followed up, which means also that Matilda can have a go at the Wild Thing. That's the Steel Avenger, almost toppled, but the Wild Thing followed into the CPZ there, which meant that Matilda could attack right on the fringe of the corner patrol zone. So not great controlled aggression from the Wild Thing, but the Steel Avenger is in major trouble. The old feather duster looks a little bit flimsy there, doesn't it? Oh, I think Matilda is shaking her tail feathers, and off comes the duster. Yeah, there, look at that. Well, they had this little sort of peacock's plume at the back, no longer. And I wonder if Humphrey's going to take any part any longer. It seemed to me that Humphrey was immobilised. This is the Wild Thing chasing down the Steel Avenger here. Steel Avenger getting away. I think that oh no, they're okay. Humphrey's okay. Just about. Or are they? We'll have to wait and see. Wild Thing on the attack on the Steel Avenger. It really has been the tail of the tape so far. Humphrey moving belatedly. Oh, straight into the claws of Dead Metal after all that. Matilda, little tusk on Wild Thing. If it goes to the judges, Wild Thing have done enough. I don't think it'll go to the judges because Humphrey, they've gone, haven't they? This is Dead Metal trying to slice down through the shell of Humphrey, and the newcomers haven't lasted long. Mick Kirkwood, a staff nurse for an intensive care unit, and I'm afraid Humphrey's going to go back to the robotic unit for some quick repairs. Crunch! Oh, crumple, slice. Mick is going to take more than a plaster to mend, I'm afraid, your robot Humphrey. Onto the arena flipper, carefully placed. This is the Steel Avenger, being dragged by Chromalot and pushed by Wild Thing. There's the Sir Chromalot camera looking out. Onto his house robot teammate, Dead Metal, and there's the flipper, throwing Humphrey through the air. Away they go, crashing down. There's all the warning signs underneath. And the warning, we will flash to Humphrey next time around. Bring a better robot. You are about to be decimated and totally destroyed by Chromalot. Brave newcomers fall at the first hurdle, which leaves Wild Thing and the Steel Avenger going through, of course.
Well, there's not an obvious tactic against the Chromalot. What are you thinking right now?
House robots, I think, basically.
Shove into the house robots.
I reckon.
Let's get it in the pen. Keep it moving. You've done well so far.
We have, yeah.
Did you take much damage from the melee?
We think it's all superficial. There's nothing structural. It's all on the front.
Yeah, lots of scratches and a few little dings, but not too much.
And the dust is intact?
Yes, and we have a little memento for you as a mascot from Steel Avenger.
All right. We'll put that in the hair, and I'll be watching from the audience.
Good.
Roboteers, stand by.
So Chromalot then with the rotating drill and Cobalt Cutter and Steve Merrill and Dave Whitehead. And the Steel Avenger, now with a third member of the team, Tony Bates, arrived there on the left-hand side, and of course they have their tickling sticks.
2, 1, activate.
They have the weight, they have the power, the 2 electric motors, and they have that pneumatically powered axe, which we haven't really seen come into play yet, the Steel Avenger. Now I just wonder, looking at Sir Chromalot, whether that tall frame is actually top heavy and whether they will be easily toppled. They say it's a streamlink as well and can self-right, but I wonder, we'll see. Anyway, the Steel Avenger, we saw the axe there, didn't create any damage. Something's flown off. One of the little flags has flown off Sir Chromalot, I think. Now this is the Steel Avenger turning. I wonder what that Sir Chromalot flag said. They're a class act. Perhaps it had their sort of crest on it, their coat of arms on it, the sweat pouring off the Sir Chromalot booted and suited team. Sir Chromalot backs away from the Steel Avenger. Down comes the axe, missed. Down comes the axe, missed. Down comes, no. Backing away, Sir Chromalot. Let's see if the axe can hit. Oh, glancing blow. It's a mighty axe, isn't it? But now listen, Steel Avenger, the object is you knock the opponent out. You don't take on the arena or the pit. So try now. Yes! Down comes the axe, but it didn't penetrate the American truck wheel hub that protects the actual mechanics of Sir Chromalot. But certainly for me, the Steel Avenger is on top here. Feather Duster, oh, look at the sweat pouring off Steve Merrill. He loves his music, his dancing, his jazz. But Steve, get fit, young man. Mind you, that's an enormous pot calling a small kettle black. Sir Chromalot digging in. But pit, they're calling. They sense that the Steel Avenger's victory is nigh. That's a waggling stick. This was their potent weapon, Sir Chromalot. In the pit with a final waggle. It's where it belonged. Oh, what a weapon. The Steel Avenger through.
The cheerleaders won't be cheering now. Chromalot in the pit. The Steel Avenger goes through. Steel Avenger. Hey, it's a very attractive robot, yours.
Yeah, thanks.
And you've still got the feather duster. I thought that'd end up in flames.
Well, we just put that on the back to clean up afterwards, you know.
Is that a feather duster or a tickling stick? I'm not quite sure.
It might tickle somebody's fancy, hopefully.
Yeah, you're fighting Wild Thing in the next round. Do you think you stand a chance?
I think we could give him a run for his money.
That axe of yours seems quite tough, really.
We had problems earlier on, and it just wasn't working in the last round. We got through. I think we sorted all the bugs now.
Yeah,
it's going really well.
Well, it was working in that fight, wasn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It was great stuff for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for the Steel Avenger. Well done, lads.
Team, you're about to go into the arena. Now, we don't think you've really been tested yet. What do you say to that?
I don't know. I think this could be the time to prove what we can do.
This is going to be our toughest battle, I think. So,
well, let's see some action.
We've got a new duster anyway, so hopefully that will help us.
It's been specially sharpened.
Oh, the duster's been sharpened, the primary weapon, and I'll be rooting
so
for you.
So if we lose, it's your fault.
All right, get in there.
From Colchester, Steel Avenger.
Plenty of bluster with their feather duster. The Steel Avenger team, John Willoughby, the captain in the middle there, the driver.
From Aldershot in Hampshire, Wild Thing.
And the number 11 seeds with Nick Adams, who owns a remote control model shop, and daughter Isabel and son Jake. The Steel Avenger, knocked out in the second round of the Series 3 by Diotor. Wild Thing, though, reached the semi-finals in Series 3 before being beaten by Panic Attack. Family team.
2, 1. Activate.
Wild Thing from the right. The Steel Avenger, slower to start. Wild Thing. Quickly across the arena floor again. Look at that little lance on the front of the lifting arm to prod and skewer the side panels of the Steel Avenger. On the attack again. Those cones on the side of the Steel Avenger act as self-righting mechanisms. An innovation from the Suffolk team for this series. The axe tentatively rocked in its cradle. Wild Thing getting away from Chromalot. We've seen great driving from Nick Adams in this heat in the Wild Thing team. There's John Willoughby, the driver of the Steel Avenger team. Oh, down comes the mighty weapon. Kevin Cockrell's at the control of that weapon. The mechanical expert is Tony Bentz, warehouse operative. And slamming against the house robot on the arena wall went the Steel Avenger. Wild Thing nudging underneath the Avenger. Got a ground clearance of a couple of inches. Now that is quite high for robot wars, actually. The Wild Thing's ground clearance, minimal. At the front, nothing at all there. The wedge shape against a more old-fashioned sort of a chassis for the Steel Avenger. Onto the flame pit. Wild Thing side on. I wonder also if those conical little stream mechanisms are acting as a protection. Let's see if they can right the Steel Avenger, having been toppled by the Wild Thing's thrust. They said the little cones could right the Steel Avenger. Well, we'll see, because now they're in major trouble. They can't right the Steel Avenger. The right side cone flicks out. There's nothing on the left. The axe can't lift the Steel Avenger. Wild Thing waits to see if they've won the heat. Chromalot comes in. I thought all along those side panels could be ripped away. I thought that would be the weak thing on the Steel Avenger. That's the way it's proven. There's the pit descending. They've come a long way via Humphrey, via Chromalot. They've been great fun, the Steel Avenger team, but it ends here and now for them. Wild Thing gives the last shove, allowed to do so by the house robots. And Wild Thing have won heat M.
Wild Thing! You make my heart sing! Wild Thing are through to the series semi-finals! You were avenged?
We were indeed. They were just too fast for us.
That's what I was thinking. A very nippy robot, that, isn't it? And every time you tried to get your axe on it, it was right behind you.
That's right. Yep.
Difficult to turn around and get a good shot at it before he was in there.
Why come your robot's so slow?
I wouldn't say it was slow.
Well, it was
Well,
fast.
I mean, it's much slower than that thing, isn't it?
You geared it down, didn't you?
Well, yeah, the speed is geared down a bit from the last war to try and make it a bit more responsive.
Yeah.
And it just depends who we're up against. And this guy was just a bit too good, I think.
It was fast. We having problems steering? Or is it easy to handle?
It's not that easy to handle, but I'm getting used to it now. So, you know, it wasn't letting me down.
Yeah. You did quite well. You came a far way. But
did.
You didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
Never mind, lads.
Never mind.
Steel Avenger. Let's hear it for them.